On today's episode, we talk about Ashton Kutcher and the saga of Antonio Brown.
We talk about more embarrassing stories like Charlie talking in his sleep.
Tyler gives me a quiz about my favorite music.
And we dive into the depths of national forests and people that go missing in them. All coming up on the Seg-Way Podcast. Hey, welcome to the Seg-Way.
The best thing to happen to you on a Thursday.
That's right, recording live in LeBron's backyard.
Tyler.
Yes.
How was your weekend?
It was very nice.
Talk about it.
So, I'm not going to talk about my weekend, but I'm going to talk about this. Did you hear about the Browns, the guy that bet on the Browns? He dropped $500,000 on the Browns.
$500,000. That's so much money.
I think it was plus 2.5, 2.5.
Did he have that money or?
Well, I mean, he must have if he laid it down. But here's the reasoning. Everybody was betting on the Rams, and typically if they call it pros versus the Joes. If the Joes, like people like you and me, are putting all the money, if they're seeing like 90% of the bets are coming in on one team, typically, because people bet lines and numbers rather than teams, they're probably thinking, okay, Vegas doesn't have this wrong. They can't, like if the majority always won the bets, then Vegas would have no money. So typically the pros will look at that and be contradictory. Like they'll go on the opposite side. So this dude probably thought, everybody's going Rams. I bet the Browns are going to win or at least cover close because it was 2.5. They lost by 7.
I was going to say, what was it?
Ooh, they lost by 7. It was 13-20. Which Freddie Kitchens, sit the fuck down. Stop play calling. I'm cool with you being our head coach. I don't want to go. I hope you're there for 10 years. Don't call plays anymore. 4th and 9 and you do a draw run play.
He's the coach?
He's the coach, but he's also calling the plays. So our offensive coordinator just sits there. He's like, yeah, okay.
What does the coach do?
Do you want a coffee or?
What does the coach do if he doesn't call the plays?
I mean, he coaches just the offense. Like he gets the offense ramped up, and he probably helps with plays. But the person that's actually calling the plays is Freddie Kitchens, the head coach.
Okay,
all right. But they won, broke my heart. Anyways, how was your weekend?
It was good. I got to shoot a gun for the first time.
Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah.
How was that recoil?
Well, with the 22, it wasn't so bad, but with the 9, I felt it.
Did you? Were your arms sore?
No, it wasn't anything like that. No.
Okay. Did you kill somebody?
Let's move on.
So I want to thank Lauren again.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a really great interview, and a lot of people came out and told us it was a really great interview. And we're like, we didn't do anything. We just asked the question. She was the one that actually did all the work. So Lauren, if you're listening, thank you so much for coming on again last week. It was awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I'm glad you came.
Vegetarian still kicking, still a Sputosaurus.
Yeah,
right?
I seen that list of like 40 recipes.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet, but I appreciate that you sent it.
I looked at it. I'm like, man, that looks fucking gross. I hope he likes it.
It's just salad 4 times. You could have a salad, or you could have an arugula salad, or a spinach salad.
One was a fried. It was a skillet ratatouille. I was like, that doesn't look any kind of good.
That sounds expensive.
I don't think so.
It's like $80 to cook, and then you make it, and you're like, well, I'm hungry. I guess I'm just going to get cheese pizza.
Ratatouille is just a vegetable soup, so it was like without the soup part.
Wait, Ratatouille is soup?
Mm-hmm.
I think that movie displayed it all wrong. Maybe if a mouse doesn't cook it, it's not soup.
I think you cooked a ratatouille in that.
Okay, if you say so. Well, this might be on fact check.
I think it will be, yeah. So that, in my head, that's what like the scroll sounds like for TNC News.
Yeah, and then there's this little bar. And today live on TNC News.
Yeah, so this is TNC News, and T-N''C.
Yeah, Tyler and Charlie News.
Not to clarify too much.
Yeah, we're going to do this every time.
So you know how Moore was married to Ashton Kutcher?
Mandy Moore?
I don't think it was Mandy Moore.
Demi Moore?
No. Demi.
How many?
Demi. It was Demi Moore. You're right. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
how many Moores are there?
I saw the first. This story is mostly about her too.
Okay.
So this is Mandy Moore. She was married to Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, well, that's how we identify women. We go by who they were married to. You know, the girlfriend of that guy. We're gonna talk about her, but just so we can associate it with the guy.
No.
You've been punked.
Oh no! All right, so you know how they got divorced? You remember when they got divorced?
Is he with Mila Kunis now?
He is Mila Kunis now, and
good for her.
So because they're, they knew each other from that '70s show, and they started dating after Ashton Kutcher had a couple kids with Demi Moore. I think they have like 3.
Okay.
Now, according to Demi Moore, she actually came out recently and said that Ashton Kutcher cheated on her while they were dating.
She just now said this?
Mm-hmm. Why just now?
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, if it's true, that really sucks.
Well, some stuff just happened to her. I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
But so apparently she was cheating on her like while the marriage was like slowing down. So I think for a couple of years. Okay. That's what she says.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what happened to Moore was that she was recently hospitalized because she was smoking synthetic marijuana.
Okay.
And also inhaling nitrous oxide.
That doesn't sound like a good combination.
I don't think it is.
She needs to get on that full synthetic, like my car.
That full that
yeah.
But that synthetic marijuana, I think that's the vape pen, right?
I don't know.
I think that's what that is. That fake pen.
Fake
vape.
It actually doesn't write. It's a fake pen.
So she was hospitalized and she was like reflecting on her life, like how did I get here? And then she went to the paper and talked about Ashton Kutcher cheating on her.
I don't even try to begin to understand celebrities and what they go through and why they decide to do half the things they do. So I'm not going to try to extrapolate on this, and I'll just say, okay.
The picture was from Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis at a Dodgers? Is that a baseball team?
Yeah, LA.
Okay, at a Dodgers game.
Okay. How do you feel about Green Day?
I love Green Day.
How about Weezer?
I love Weezer.
How about Fall Out Boy?
I'm a big fan of all of those.
That's the tour.
Oh, fuck.
It's called the Hella Mega Tour.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge stadium tour. I guess, from what I was reading, Billie Joe Armstrong was trying to reinvent their sound, so it's probably going to be even worse than their last stuff. I'll be honest. I love, like, their earlier stuff, and even, like, up until 2004, like, American Idiot. Like, I'm still down with that, but, like, the 21 Guns and stuff past that, I'm not really down with.
I tried to get into that CD.
You tried.
I couldn't.
You gave it an effort.
I did.
So maybe it's a good thing that they're trying again to reinvent themselves again. But so I imagine, based on some of the stuff I read about how he's going to be going falsetto, there might be like R&B influences. It's going to be different. But I'm still excited because that tour lineup of Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy is going to be pretty sick.
Who's opening?
That's a good question. My guess would be, I think it would probably go Fall Out Boy, Weezer, and then Green Day. That would be the order I would assume.
Probably leave before the headliner.
You would?
Probably.
You wouldn't stay for Green Day?
It depends how they do. If they like come out with old stuff, maybe, I don't know. But
they're going to play old stuff.
If they're reinventing themselves, I don't know.
People actually wanted them to do just like tour and just play Dookie from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. But they were just like, yeah, that'd be a really short show. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun to see. I'd like to go. I don't know if I will, but I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's 2020 that's going to be coming around.
Oh, that's next.
To a stadium near you.
That's pretty close. All right, my turn?
Yep.
Turn the page.
Slide to the left.
Oh, this is sad. This whole story's sad.
You always bring the somber, so let's hear it.
I mean, I have a touch.
Excuse us.
I have a touch of the macabre.
The macabre.
So, 2 days ago, Sid Haig. Do you know who that is, Tyler?
No.
You're a big horror movie fan, so I thought you would know who this is.
Sig
Haig? H-A-I-G.
H-A-I-G?
Yeah.
Why would I know Sid Haig?
Because he's in House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects.
So he's just in all those, Rob Zombie movies?
Are they both Rob Zombie movies?
I believe so.
Then yes.
Don't fact check me on it. We'll fact check ourselves. Future Tyler, fact check this. But I think those are both Rob Zombie movies, which I didn't watch.
He's a horror actor.
Okay.
He died at the age of 80.
That's a good life.
2 years ago. Yeah.
It's a good life. Good for him.
I saw Logan posted about it.
We always find a way to squeeze Logan in here. We love you, Logan.
I love him too. And yesterday, a celebrity chef died, which I thought was
weird.
Wait,
are we off the Sid Haig now?
I'm off Sid Haig.
Poured some for the homies that ain't here anymore. Now we're on to chef.
Yeah, Chef Carl Ruiz, R-U-I-Z, Ruiz, he died very young, 44. I tried reading the article more, but all he said was that he died. Okay. And I was like, what did he die of? I'm sure stuff's
going to come out. Where was he a chef for
He has his own restaurants in L.A.
He's L.A. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's probably a big-time chef, but...
Yeah, he's a celebrity chef. He was probably on stuff. But he died at 44. I thought it was strange.
Or maybe being a chef, he's probably a lover of food, so he probably wasn't eating the best. But...
I mean, he was a thin dude. There was a picture. I don't know.
Stress.
Maybe. I don't...
Did he get shot, or...?
I feel like it's probably drugs.
Yeah.
If I had to guess at that young.
Yeah, it sucks.
But we'll find out. More to come, I guess.
All right, I cannot do an episode without talking about this clown. Antonio Brown.
I knew it was gonna.
You knew it was gonna happen.
I knew it was gonna.
I don't even know where we left off. Like every day, something happens with this dude.
I sent you a screenshot of the other day.
He signed. I believe the last thing and I don't want to give this dude too much time, so I'm gonna try and fly through this. The last thing I think I said was he got picked up by the Patriots. He played in a week with the Patriots, scored a touchdown. Everyone was happy. Tom Brady, because he's just Jesus Christ, was like, "Come live with me, Antonio Brown. Things will get better." But what Tommy Boy didn't know is that there would be a lot of sexual assault allegations against.
Did he kiss him? Oh my god!
Like the stuff he had a girl come over to his house, a woman I should say, and paint a mural of him in his house.
Antonio Brown?
Yeah, and he was like flirting with her. He would walk up and talk to her with like only a cloth covering his genitals and just a lot of stuff like that.
How one does.
Yes. One of his personal trainers accused him of, I believe, raping her. So,
oh my god.
For the first time in their lives, the Patriots did the right thing and they released him after one game. So now he tweeted out, "I'm quitting the NFL." He threw Roethlisberger, which I'm fine with, under the bus, and Shannon Sharp, an FS1 analyst, because of their allegations and what happened to them. And then he decided to go back to school. And he enrolled online at the... It's a Michigan school.
What a roller coaster.
Central Michigan online. Nobody cares. Hopefully this is the last update I have on this dude, but chances are it's probably not.
Holy shit. That's a crazy story. You know,
I have no idea what that is. What is that?
Have you not watched any Game of Thrones?
Not a single second.
All right, can you man the fuck up like everybody else and watch some Game of Thrones?
I'm good. Apparently it ends terribly, so maybe I shouldn't. It's probably too late to invest. I'd rather not.
Can we not jump a story?
I'll just watch Psych for the next 30 years of my life. Continue.
So Kit Harington is a main character.
Like Steve Harrington.
So Kit Harington plays Jon Snow.
Okay.
Have you heard that name before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Peter Dinklage, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
So, you know the controversy over the last season. How a lot of people didn't like how it ended.
Yes.
I'm one of the few that did. At me.
Did you complain to everyone about it? Did you threaten to have it? Did you want them to redo the season?
No, I liked it.
Oh, you did like
it? I was one of the few that liked it.
Oh, good for you.
But,
yeah.
Kit Harington, in order to avoid this controversy, he decided not to watch the last season of his own episodes, of his own series.
Wait, he wrote this stuff? No, he's Jon Snow. Oh,
yeah, he played Jon Snow, but he decided to avoid all the bullshit, just to not watch the season finale.
I mean, but he probably knows what happens, right? I would assume he knows.
Yeah, he knows what happened.
He's like, no spoilers, people. I don't want to know. I hope Jon doesn't die. God, I love him.
The dragon burns the symbolism. That's a Lindsay Ellis joke. But he didn't watch the last season of his own TV show, and that was it was part of the interview at the Emmys.
I wonder how many artists do that. I bet there's a lot of artists that don't watch their own movies, don't listen to their own music. Like, I feel like there's some artists like to have a separation between them and their art. I wonder if he's probably not the only one. It's just because it's such a big thing.
Yeah, no, it's plausible deniability, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know nothing.
So, speaking of the Emmys, I didn't watch it. I checked up this. I don't get into those shows. Maybe I should, but I don't.
I can't get into it.
The Tonys, the Oscars, the Emmys, I just don't get into any of them. But, because you know the problem is I don't ever watch anything or listen to anything that's on there. Like the music tends to be too popular.
I'm not mainstream.
It's not even mainstream. It's like those artsy, like Birdman. Like I don't watch.
Birdman was fucking awesome.
I didn't watch it.
Birdman was the shit.
I don't even know what year we're talking about right now. The Emmys, one of the outstanding television movie, was won by Black Mirror's Bandersnatch. Did you know anything about that?
Can you repeat the title again?
Black Mirror,
..
Bandersnatch.
Oh, on Netflix?
Yes.
I know a little about it, yeah.
I hated it.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I hated it. What?
Did you watch Black Mirror?
I watched some of it, yeah.
Okay.
But this was a television movie. Like, it's all...
encompassing.
Yeah, I did not like it. I thought it was, like, so overly meta. It was... There's so much repetition in it. And it felt like when you're an intro to fiction writing and somebody's like, oh my God, I just thought of an idea. I'm going to write a story about somebody writing a story. That's what it felt like. And the acting was fine. It had that dude from We're the Millers and
the redhead kid?
Maze Runner.
Oh, the
nerdy kid.
Yeah, okay.
He was in it. And it's like the acting was fine. But there were just some moments where, like, the guy's like, I feel like somebody else is controlling my life. And then you have a chance to be like, you know, you're being watched by somebody on Netflix. And they're like, oh, what is that? You know, because it's just so overly meta. And it's just like, it's like a story about ideas. I just did not like it at all. So when I was going through the Emmys, because I was just skimming through it, because I was like, didn't see it, don't care. And then I saw this and I saw it won. I know a lot of people like it. I'm probably in the minority here. Really did not like it at all.
Embarrassing stories. I love this segment. I don't like it. I mean, I like it because it's funny to hear about you.
It's me.
Yeah.
Mine's not like, it's embarrassing because I shouldn't have let it happen, but it's not like oh, I'm blushing, embarrassing. But anyway, you're up first. You're on deck.
Mine are stupid. Mine's stupid. So I don't actually remember the story. Like I remember, I remember how it's told.
Let me just start off by saying this didn't actually happen.
No, it happened to me, but it happened while I was sleeping.
I was on Mordor. All right.
And I said, I'm keeping this ring.
All right.
Pull yourself together.
I can't.
All right. So you know how Alex and I lived together for a year or so.
I was there too, but yeah.
It was before that in Gallucci.
Yes.
So that was like 10 years ago. It was
9 years ago.
I was 19. So Alex told me this story about myself because I sleep talk. I talk in my sleep and I talk and stuff like that.
You know, I feel like I heard this story like 9 years ago, so I'm really excited to hear it again now because I don't remember it. But
you've probably heard it.
I'm sure I have.
So it was not that late. It was probably like 1 or 2 in the morning. But I was sleeping, but Alex was working on homework. He's probably going to tell me I'm wrong. So I was sleeping and I sat up like while I was sleeping and I screamed, dude, cup it. And I would lean back down to sleep. And Alex is like, what? Charlie, are you awake? And I was like, no. And I just started snoring again.
If you had to guess what you're dreaming about.
Soup?
Oh.
I have no idea.
Ratatouille?
Maybe. What?
Ratatouille?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what I could have been even thinking. I mean, you could have some imagination, I guess, there. But, I mean, you know, it's not a very long, embarrassing story, but it's not even that embarrassing because I don't remember it happening.
Yeah, he could just be messing with you.
I don't think he was.
No, probably not. People do weird things in their sleep.
Yeah, like I said, I've notoriously talked to my sleep probably my whole life. But yeah.
You good?
Yeah, that's my story.
All right. So, as you know, and as I might have mentioned before, in a past life, 2 years ago, I used to do Meals on Wheels. So what we would do is we would load up our cars with all these different food, and we would drive around to our clients, knock on their door, get their signature, and bring them their food. And that's what it was. One day, and it's a hot July day. So it was about 30 to 40 stops a day, and it's not good for your car to be turned on and off 40 times a day plus. So I had one of the remote start cars, so I would always leave my key in my pocket. And if I was in a driveway, like if I was on the street, I always turned it off, safety. But if I was in a driveway and I pulled all the way up, I would typically just let it run because, I'm in a driveway. So I went to this house in, I guess, a bad part of Akron that I found out about later. And I pull all the way up in his driveway, grab the meals out of my trunk, walk up to his door, knock. We talk for a couple minutes. I've known him for a year at this point. So he signs, I give him the meal, I grab my clipboard, I'm walking back, and I see my car backing out of his driveway, and it takes a minute. I'm like, oh no, the brakes. I'm like, crap. But then I start seeing it drive forward. So I believe I yell fuck as loud as I can, toss my clipboard, and I don't know what I'm thinking here. I run after it. Like, was I going to catch him?
I don't know.
And he takes an immediate right. So I don't have a car. And my phone was in that car. My wallet was in my car. My iPod was in that car. So I go inside, and this dude is like living in the 20s. He doesn't have a cell phone, doesn't have internet. Like, I was probably about 5 seconds away from asking for a phone book. But thankfully, I had Claire's numbers memorized, and she was working with me at the time. So I called them, and work was like an hour away. So I literally was like calling, like trying to call Huntington, all these things to cancel my card. Police didn't do shit. Like, police did not do shit. Like, I think I mentioned this back when I was talking about how I was the neighborhood watching in the area, and I had to call 911. They came in 3 seconds. When I said my car got stolen in Akron, it was like an hour later. We actually, I'll give Claire credit. She actually found my car. Like, because I had the remote key in my pocket, as soon as they stopped and turned it off, it wouldn't turn on again. So it was like only a couple roads over, but we found my car. But I just felt like such an idiot. Like like even though we got the car back and we found it, instead of the freaking police, my wallet was stolen. I had to go get all that stuff done. I had to cancel all my cards. They took my GPS. They left my iPod. They looked through that. They shuffled through that shit, and they're like, fuck this.
That's
and
the broken green one, right?
No, it was my same one I'm using now, the iPod Touch. The green one was still in there, but they wouldn't have even probably got to that. But yeah, I felt like an idiot because it's like I could have just turned it off and locked it. So you can better believe after that I did, but that sucked. All right, y'all. It is quiz time. First of all, happy autumn. It is autumn now. Yeah. Summer's gone. This month is gone. Like, this is the last podcast of September 2019. This is nuts. So as you know, the quiz comes into play. We rotate back and forth. The loser of the quiz has to buy an appetizer next week on first week food. So this week or this month, it's back to me quizzing Charlie. We've gotten feedback, which we love. Let me just say this again. We love feedback. Thank you to the people that give us feedback. They said the quiz is a little short. So what we're going to do is instead of 5 questions, so the winner getting 3 out of 5, we're now doing 10. So the winner, like Charlie, if he gets 6 out of 10, he wins. If I stump him 6 out of 10 times, then I win. And we're going to go from there. So Charlie, you don't know what the subject is.
I don't know yet.
Do you remember what I texted you a couple days ago?
Yes. Me what my 5 favorite band, 7 to 10 favorite bands were.
Yep. So for the sake of this quiz, we're just going to use Ed Sheeran, We Came as Romans, A Day to Remember, Rise Against, and Childish Gambino.
Oh boy.
So before we get started, I have to ask you, you need to tell me your favorite song for each artist.
Okay.
Let's start with Rise Against. What's your favorite Rise Against song?
I remember the name of it.
Or say the lyrics. The Good Left Undone?
Yes.
Ed Sheeran, what's your favorite song? He is put on the spot right now, just so y'all know. He did not know this was happening, so.
My favorite Ed Sheeran song?
Yeah. I mean, you would assume since these are his favorite bands, he might know.
You Need Me.
Artist. You Need Me?
Yeah.
And Childish Gambino?
Freaks and Geeks. Oh, maybe it's Bonfire. No, Freaks and Geeks, it's fine.
And A Day to Remember? Downfall of Us All. And We Came as Romans.
It's either Hope. I think Hope. I'm going to go with Hope.
Okay, cool. That will come into play later. But for the time being, this is going to be set in 2 separate parts. 2 sets of 5. Are you ready?
Yeah, I know more about some things. I know more about some of these than others.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you only got to get 6. You only got to get 6. 60%. That's failing. But for here, it's a win.
It's a D.
Rise Against is known for their punk-driven melody music.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then, Tim likes to come out on stage and do an acoustic song. Or 2. Or 3 if you're lucky. His first one was called Swing Life Away. Are you familiar with the song?
Yeah.
I know you are. What album did that song come out on? Was it Revolutions Per Minute? Was it Sufferer and the Witness? Or was it Siren Song of the Counterculture?
Suffer the Witness?
No.
Ah!
Tyler won.
What is it?
It's Siren Song of the Counterculture. A Day to Remember! All signs point to Lauderdale.
What
you know the song? I hate this town. Yeah. Is that on What Separates Me From You, Homesick, or Common Courtesy?
I think I know what it is.
Okay.
But I'm not positive. Can you read them again?
What Separates Me From You, Homesick, Common Courtesy.
Question.
Yeah.
Do I have lifelines?
Nope.
Can I see the visuals?
No.
Really?
No.
Come on.
No, these are your 5 favorite artists in the world.
I'm a visual learner. All right. One more time. What are they?
What Separates Me From You, Homesick, Common Courtesy.
I think it's A.
What Separates Me From You?
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
Nice job, dude. How do you feel about Ed Sheeran?
You know I love him.
I know you do. He has a song called Thinking Out Loud. You familiar?
You sing it?
No.
Okay.
You know the song.
And I'm not as familiar with it, but yeah, I know it is.
Is it on plus, multiply, or divide? It was really easy to write these down.
Did you just write the symbols or did you write it out?
I wrote it out.
Okay. It's multiply.
That is correct.
Yeah. I was always going to get that one. Do you know how nervous I am right now?
Okay, funny that this would actually be your favorite song. We Came as Romans has a song called Hope. Is that on Understanding What We've Grown to Be, Tracing Back Roots, or their self-titled album, We Came as Romans?
Well, I know it's on We Came as Romans.
Yeah, which is oddly later.
Yeah. Well,
they're like we can't think of any ideas. Let's just put our name.
Can you name the first two again?
Understanding What We've Grown to Be, Tracing Back Roots.
I want to say it's Tracing Back Roots.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And finally, Childish Gambino has a song called Me and Yo Mama.
Yeah, is that okay?
Is that on Camp, Because the Internet, or Awaken, My Love?
I think it's on Because the Internet.
That is incorrect.
Is it the other one?
There's two other ones.
It's not on Camp.
Yeah, it's Awaken, My Love.
I listen to Camp backwards and forwards.
All right. It is now 2-3. Charlie, you have a 1-point lead. You need 3 more to win.
This is so hard.
I need 4 more. It's not good. So, do you remember when I asked you what your favorite song was for each artist?
Mm-hmm.
And so let's go through that. For Rise Against, you have The Good Left Undone.
Mm-hmm.
On Suffer and the Witness, is that track number 9, track number 11, or track number 12?
I have not even an inkling of that answer. I never had the CD. I just listen on YouTube.
Okay, when you go on YouTube and you cycle through them, is it video number 9, is it video number 11, or is it video number 12?
I'm not gonna. 9.
That is incorrect.
Oh, I'm very surprised.
3-3, tied it up. I think you'll get this one. For a day to remember, you said your favorite song was Downfall of Us All, which is on the album Homesick. Is that track number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Number 1.
That is correct.
Kicks that thing off.
Childish Gambino, you said what, Freaks and Geeks? Is that, which is on Camp, is that correct?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It says it's extended edition of Camps.
I never had the extended edition. It was a single before Camp came out.
Okay. But if you had the edition of, it would either be track 12, 7, or 14.
14.
See, you used reasoning there, because if it wasn't on yours, you need 1 more to win.
Okay.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah. I'm nervous.
We Came as Romans.
Oh, okay.
Your favorite song was Hope.
Oh, wait, how many more questions are there?
2.
Okay.
So I have to get both. If you get one of these 2, you would win, and I would have to get the appetizer next week.
Okay.
We Came as Romans. I believe, what was it called? Tracing Back Roots, song Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Is that track number 4, number 5, or number 7?
Ooh. 4.
No.
Ah.
It is. Wait, how is it not? Hold on a second. I did think I did math wrong.
What?
No. Oh, dude, this is interesting. I picked an even number.
What?
I didn't think this through. I was thinking one of us would get to 6 first.
Yeah.
But if I win this one and you get it wrong, then it's tied 5-5.
What do we do?
That's a really good question.
I guess we'll find out in a minute.
Yeah, you know what we'll do? You gave me 2 other artists. I'll pull one of those up.
Okay.
So hopefully, actually I do. I hope we have a sudden death. Ed Sheeran.
Oh boy.
You Need Me, Man. I Don't Need You, or something like that. Off of the album, I don't know which one is that. Plus. Is that track number 6, number 10, or number 11?
We don't need sudden death. It's number 10.
Hell yeah, dude. Nice job. You know you're Ed Sheeran.
I do.
You know you're Ed Sheeran. So with a score of 6-4, Charlie, you know your top 5 favorite artists.
I do.
And I will buy an appetizer. So this is 3 months in a row. The quizzer is beaten by the quizzee.
Yeah.
Quizzee for the cuisine. Okay, so we are now at paraformal, which is paranormal.
Woo!
Not paranorman. Subpar. Did you see Paranorman?
I think Matt likes it.
Sorry, Matt.
No, I mean...
Matt's going to come back at me in 5 weeks when he's got me on a walk all alone and be like, I didn't like what you said about Paranorman.
Paranorman? I think Alex likes that too.
Well, I guess I'm in the minority here. It was okay. It was no Monster House.
I didn't see it. I like Monster House a lot.
Me too. Anyway, this is going to be a little scattered. So you're going to have to stick with me on your commute while you're hanging out, doing whatever you're doing. Stick with me here.
I'm with you.
I know you got to be, listen, you are the lens of the audience.
Right.
Like, I've thought this through. I have it written down. I got 9 pages of notes here. I'm fine. You are the person who is representing the listener. So if I start making 0% sense, it's up to you to reel me in.
I will keep you on, well, I don't think any of this is going to make sense, but...
Good. How do you feel about national forests?
National forests?
National forests.
I think they're open 24/7.
Are they?
I think so.
Good.
Didn't we find that out a couple weeks ago?
I think so. The cool thing about them, which I've always liked, is you can camp in them. Like, you can just go out and camp.
Really?
Like, yeah, rather than like places where you need to be at a campsite.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in a national forest, good to go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That seems more fun to me if you were camping. I've only camped a couple times, but if I was actually going out in the wilderness, I think I'd rather camp just...
I mean, I like the sites because there's like electricity usually.
That's not camping. That's glamping.
Well, no, I mean
glamping.
Like, there's a difference between an outlet and like a lighting fixture.
Yeah, and there's a difference between camping and glamping. But anyways, apparently, some national forests are considered paranormal hotspots. So if you think about a paranormal hotspot, think about it as like, and a lot of this is going to be more conspiracy than specifically like paranormal, like Black Eyed Kids, Witch's Ball. Like that was more like creepy, paranormal, spooky stuff. Where this, it goes into that, but it is kind of like conspiracy theorist mindset. So if you go into that mindset, think about it in terms of like, okay, what makes something more paranormal? And if you think about like dimensions and stuff, you might say like Halloween, like the veil is thinnest around Halloween.
Yeah.
Like think about maybe there are certain areas in this world where a veil is just naturally thinner.
Like a porter.
A porter.
Like a porter
Kevin
wine,
Porter
you know?
Jr. Yeah, like a
portal.
Yeah, or it just our world and their world is closer there. Like think of the Bermuda Triangle,
yeah,
for example, or the Suicide Forest in Japan, which I think they just made a movie about, which I did not see.
It was bad, called The Forest.
I'll probably still watch it. So anyway, the national forests, this is something that I thought was interesting. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of stories about people going missing in these forests. And it makes sense after like what I kind of mentioned about how if you're in these forests, you can just go camping like 24/7. So naturally in a place that's less restricted, you're probably going to have more stuff happen. But just the amount of people that go missing, and this is something else that I thought was kind of crazy. There are no statistics being kept about missing people in national forests. As far as my research goes, if you guys can prove me wrong, come at me. Be like, you can go right here and find it. But from all the research that I did, they don't like to disclose how many missing people national forests have at any given time. And it just, like that in itself seems like a completely different conspiracy for another day. But just the fact that nobody has any idea how many people are disappearing. Based on a lot of the different research that I did, a lot of the disappearances are either people showing up in places that they would not expect to be found, or just bodies never found. Both of which are not good. So what I want to do here is I found 4 stories. And I'm saying stories in that doesn't, just because I'm telling you them doesn't mean they're truth. It doesn't mean they're documented. These are 4 stories that are put out there that you can take at face value. You can take it however you want. So are you with me? Are you ready for my first story?
I'm ready.
We haven't even dove into my topic yet. This is how much I love prefacing. This is going to be an hour-long episode before I'm like, okay, here's my real topic. Lillian. Pretty name, right?
Yeah.
6-year-old girl, Maine, 1897. You with me?
1897. So
yeah.
This is like, she's got like a thing on her head.
Yeah, probably like, what was Ed's, or not Ed's, Camp, Childish Gambino?
Yeah,
probably
Camp.
on that time. So Lillian and her parents were blueberry picking. Everybody loves picking blueberries. So they were only there for a short amount of time when, poof, she vanished.
Oh boy.
Without a trace. So they searched, they went looking, they got the authorities. So essentially, after a little while, they got about 200 people. I feel like communities were like, man, they were tight-knit back then. Girl goes...
It had to be, because otherwise everyone would be gone.
They weren't at home playing Call of Duty. So a few days later, a team of 300 people found her a few miles from where they vanished. And this is what she had to say when they found her. The sun shined the entire time that I was in the woods.
Oh my god. You don't know this, but my body just went tingles.
So, and the people claimed, obviously, they have to add this extra detail just to make it seem extra spooky. The weather was stated to be partly cloudy, and she had spent 2 nights outside at night for a total of 46 hours, but she claims that the sun was shining the entire time.
She went into another dimension.
I was thinking alien, like that light.
Oh, okay.
Moving on. Stephen Kubacki. We're in the 70s now.
Yeah.
So what is that? Is that Childish Gambino's second album?
Because
probably.
The internet?
Yeah.
They don't have think they had the internet yet.
But dudes were paying their internet bills in 96, apparently. Paying his Microsoft Paint bill. Anyway, in February 1978, Stephen, who was a student at the time, he went missing in Michigan. I knew that was going to throw me off. Missing in Michigan.
Michigan.
Apparently it's known as a Great Lakes Triangle.
What?
The Great Lakes Triangle. I don't know. I don't think it's probably even holds a candle to the Bermuda Triangle.
I've never even heard of that.
He was going skiing. He's like, hey, it's the 70s. The Warriors come out next year. I'm gonna go skiing. So they found his skis, his poles on the beach of Lake Michigan, and footprints heading up to the lake, like the ice. Apparently they were in a chopper and they flew over it, and the footprints just appeared to stop. So he's just unheard of for a little over a year. So 15 months later, in 1979, which is the year the Warriors takes place, Stephen walked up to his father's door and said he didn't remember much. Which is
15 months later?
Yeah, that's an understatement. Think of everything you did in 15 months.
Oh my God.
So he woke up in Pittsfield, which is only 40 miles from his father's house where he walked to, but it's 700 miles from Lake Michigan. He was lying in a meadow. He was wearing clothes that did not belong to him, and he had a satchel that was full of maps that also did not belong to him.
Oh, you know what happened to him? I know what happened to him. He was abducted, and he lived in a human zoo, and they had a whole fucking trial about whether he should go back home or not, and he didn't remember that at all.
That would probably make sense with the 15 months. That's probably how long that alien trials take.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one doesn't have a name. This is where it starts becoming like, take it for what it's worth. If it's just a good story, it's just a good story. But it's a first-hand account by somebody who, they're on Reddit, so they're claiming a story themselves. Does it lose a little weight? For me, yeah, it does. But at the same time, here's what's said. So this takes place in summer of 2015 in the Great Smoky Mountains. So this one takes place in the Great Smoky Mountains.
Okay.
This is how we're going to do this. So a lady went hiking with her husband and her 2 sons. They were 6 and 8 years old. The youngest child has epilepsy and had a migraine disorder. He'd been seizure-free for a couple years, and he controlled his headaches with medication. So as they're hiking, her youngest son, the 6-year-old, starts complaining about feeling hot, and his head started hurting a lot. So because they were on a trip, she said, hey, husband, I'm sure that's what she said. Hey, husband and 8-year-old child without a name, you guys go on ahead. You guys just go on ahead. I'm gonna hang back with him because he was slowing down. She didn't want it to affect them because them being older and whatever, they probably want to do their own thing. So she decided to stay back. So the 6-year-old starts to cry and starts complaining that his ears and his head are hurting, and he starts covering his ears. At this point, the husband and the 8-year-old are kind of far up ahead. So it's just those two hanging back. So she claims that she walked off the trail and they sat down in this little grassy area, and she told him, just close your eyes, just relax, calm down, it'll be okay. And she was just trying to, get him to relax, so maybe it would help his head out a little bit. She got her phone out to text her husband that they were resting, and while she was it's 2015, but she must have had an older phone unless she had the volume turned on. But when she started texting her husband, the clicking of her phone felt loud to her. And that's when she kind of had a moment and she stopped and was like, it is eerily quiet out here. So what she claims that made her feel like was she had been told her whole life, when a tornado comes, things get like eerily quiet. Like, the idea of like the calm before a storm. So she was actually starting to get a feeling like something was just going to swipe them away. And she began to feel afraid and looked around. And so while she's trying to calm her child down, she feels this ominous, heavy feeling. It was like the way she described it was like when a child doesn't want to look under their bed, but they feel like something's under the bed. Like she wanted to look around because she felt afraid, but she was almost like too afraid of what she might see. So this went on for about 10 minutes, and she said she was getting this primal urge to just get out of there. But at the same time, she has her 6-year-old kid. She's trying to relax so that he's relaxed and calm him down. But at the same time, she's getting this feeling like something is just completely off. So that lasts for about 10 minutes, she claims. She says a few seconds later, her oldest son came racing down the trail that they had just came from with a look of just absolute panic on his face. And he screams, "Dad, I found her." The child screams to her husband and says, "I found them." So she asks him, like, what was the issue? Like, I was sending you a text message saying we were just going to rest a while because her son was having headaches. They told her that they'd been looking for her for over 3 hours. And she called him a liar, said it probably felt like a couple hours, but they were only there for 10 minutes. But when she got back, she checked her phone, she checked her husband's phone, she checked her car's clock. She really had been out there for 3.5 hours. And her husband and son claimed that they went up and down the trail, screaming their names. And she claims that on that trail, even if they wouldn't have seen her, she would have easily heard them calling because of how quiet everything felt. So that one kind of struck me as one.
3.5 hours of missing time.
Yeah.
Oh
so
God.
It's like the son's reaction, her reaction physically, mentally to whatever was happening, and then just losing 3.5 hours like nothing. Any comments?
That was another one that made me like I'm like shivering. Yeah.
So this is my fourth and final one of specifically just various forests. Yes. Yeah. July 2016, Colorado.
That wasn't that long ago.
Was that Gambino's newest one? Did it come out in 2016?
It might have, yeah.
I don't think so.
Not the newest one, but maybe because of the internet.
So this one takes place at a personal retreat yoga center area in Colorado. I don't know what national forest is out there, but
in Colorado?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. That's where people ski and stuff, you know?
So this lady is out there by herself on this retreat, and she's on this hike. She claims to be an experienced hiker. Don't know what that means. I don't know what, you don't get a certificate in hiking.
No.
So anyway, so she just feels like she's a really experienced hiker. So she walks 5 feet off the trail because she sees this brightly colored sign attached to a tree, which gave the name of the national forest she was in. She didn't say what it was, but she saw it. So when she turned around to go back on the trail was not there. So she walks 5 minutes off the trail path, looks at the sign, turns around, and she was in a different location. So she tried to calm herself down. She circled the area to find the trail, or try to find the trail, but she could not find where she came from. So she decided to retrace her steps backwards, like double back, to find the sign that she was looking at, the brightly colored National Forest sign, and that wasn't there either. So she had no point of reference. The trail was gone and the sign was gone. So she started to get what she can only claim as a creepy feeling that she was being watched, which was followed by a panic. So while she's looking around trying to get some type of point of reference, she hears voices in the distance. So she's like, okay, there's other people out here. So she begins screaming and crying out for help. But she gets this feeling that her voice isn't actually carrying. Like what she's saying isn't going anywhere. It's just dying. And she gets this intuition inside her, like something is trying to pull her in a separate direction. But she tries to fight it because she just has this off feeling like whatever is happening is not right. So she begins running towards the voices. And she claims that the grass is getting taller and taller, and it almost feels like she's falling in quicksand. She twists her ankle, and she felt like she was running in slow motion.
And she died.
No. And she hired, right before she died, she hired a ghostwriter to get all this out. So she claims eventually she just got to the trail. Like, I don't know how that happened. It's not a very well put together story. But this is kind of what I thought was the most interesting. When she got back to the facility, she felt like her eyes were being burned. and like she had been doused in different chemicals. Like there were burn marks on her body. Typically, like if I don't believe a story, if I don't know what typically I know where a story's going, or I know what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I read a story about somebody being in a mansion and then they have 2 marks on their neck, I'm like, all right, I know where you're going with this. I don't know where this is going in terms with the burning eyes. What is it?
Alien.
You think so?
Yeah. Alien.
But how would that whole situation
missing time?
But it wasn't just time. It's like she was put in a different location and everything was slowed down.
I think what she's trying to approach there is like a missing memory manipulation.
Okay.
And burning is like readjusting to the atmosphere, or she was like sterilized and then readjusted.
Okay. That's
what I would gather.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I had no idea. I didn't have any prior knowledge that would lead me to something.
Like you said, I've initiated in this kind of talk, so I think that's what I would guess. My expertise. I would say she's the least credible of those stories that you told. It's the least credible one. Yeah.
Because she was all alone too, so it doesn't. So, how many of you, or Charlie, have you heard of Mount Shasta?
I have not before today.
Not before today?
No.
It is a U.S. national natural landmark. It's a huge mountain. It's actually technically a volcano.
Oh, like St. Helens.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of the Cascade Mountain Range. It's part of the Trinity National Forest. Ah, you see the connection.
I do.
Yes, Northern California. And I know if you don't ask, somebody else would ask, when's the last time it erupted? 1786.
Oh, this is a while ago. So that was like...
It's due. It's due.
Is there like anybody set up around there? Like any families or anything?
Well, it's a national forest. So I don't think it's like nobody's living on it, but there is an area. There is an indigenous tribe to it as well. Like the Winnemem people. That they live there.
Okay.
They chill out. It's their area. They hang out. It's where they play Mario
if it erupts, is anyone in immediate danger?
I'm not sure how close the closest town or city would be. I'm not sure. Most people go to it recreationally to hike and stuff like that. So I'm going to start with this, which this doesn't hold much weight, but it leads to... It'll be brought back up. This is a callback moment. So in 2009, there was a mysterious hole discovered in the side of this volcano or mountain, whatever you want to call it. Mountain.
Fill a hole if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, Tyler, hey.
It was about 60 feet deep, and it happened overnight. So if you think about it, it's not like a 6-foot, hole that somebody's digging with a shovel. It's 60 feet deep. That's, pretty significant. They claimed that it looked like it was dug by hand. The only thing that was left behind and discovered in the morning was a ladder, a couple of buckets, and a plastic water bottle. So how does this come into play? I don't know either. We'll get back to it. So here's the main story. So this story is my favorite. It's why I'm bringing it up now. It would easily fit in with the other stories that I discussed, but I'm saving it because this one is specifically talking about Mount Shasta. So, October 1st, 2010, we're going to be talking about 3.5-year-old little John, who his family likes to go fly fishing near, you guessed it, Mount Shasta. Around 6 p.m. that night, John's parents realized that the son had suddenly gone missing.
Not the sky's son, the little boy's son.
The little boy.
Okay.
Not the constant daytime sun from the 1700s. So the way they describe it is 1 second he was there, and then the next second it just felt like he was gone. So they searched the area. They called the police. It only took about 5 hours, and I don't say that lightly. Like, obviously, any time that a 3-year-old is missing, it probably feels like forever. So this is me being serious. I know I don't mean just 5 hours, but compared to like 46 hours in another story, 5 hours is not that bad. So about 5 hours pass, and they find him. He's in a dazed, semi-conscious state, but they
tripping on the mollies.
Yeah, he's eating the mushrooms on the mountain. So they find him. He's exhausted, but for the time being, everything's okay. They're like, okay, that was scary. We don't know how it happened, but we got him back. So time passes, and one day little John is hanging out with his grandmother, Kathy, and they're playing. And out of nowhere, John, little 3.5-year-old, looks at his grandmother and say that he didn't like the other grandmother. And so she's confused, and she asks him exactly what he means.
Is that like other mother from Coraline?
Maybe. So this is what Little John says. He, out of nowhere, he like, and this time has passed and nothing's been said. So he tells his grandmother that while he was lost in the woods, he had been taken deep inside of Mount Shasta, a cave, by a woman that he thought was his grandmother. She led him into a cool, dark, spider-infested room that was filled with motionless humanoid robots. And apparently scattered across the floor were dusty guns, purses, and other types of weapons. So when he gets...
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Is a purse a weapon?
No. Other weapons like guns.
Oh, and purses.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's typically what old ladies use to beat up burglars.
That's right.
So he notices, at this point, that an eerie light is coming from his grandmother's head.
Sure.
So this is when he realizes shit ain't sweet. She puts down a piece of paper and asks him to defecate on it.
What the fuck?
In that room. So he keeps telling her, like, I don't want to, I don't have to, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. But apparently, like, that's all they could get out of him. I mean, he's 3.5 years old. It's not like there's only so much of a coherent conversation that you can get out of him. But obviously, she alerted his parents and everybody was concerned. So I guess this is where it kind of gets weird for me. That leads...
that's where it gets weird? That's the part that's a little strange, a little out there for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's two parts. One, I guess the fake grandmother with a light in her head, claimed that John had been planted inside his mother's womb and that he was actually from outer space.
Oh.
And two, now the grandmother claims to have her own story. That she... It's like when you have an experience and you just repress it or ignore it, but then when somebody else said something weird, it's like, oh, wow. That actually kind of like...
Memories. Yeah,
so she had a moment herself where she had been camping. She went on a camping trip, probably when she was younger, but it doesn't give a time, and I'm not going to make one up. So when she left the sleeping bag, she felt an intense pain at the base of her neck, and there were apparently 2 puncture wounds, and the skin became red and inflamed, and they claimed that it looked like a spider bite. So the connection to that would obviously be under the cave. There were the spiders. It was a spider-infested room. So both her and her companion on her trip became violently ill and so sick that she couldn't even get enough strength to like pack her bags and get out of there. And the only thing she remembers from that night before she came to the next morning was she claimed there were 2 glowing eyes that were staring at her from the forest. So I don't know how soon or how far that story happened in regards to Little John's story. Little John. But, they're making the connection between the spider. She loses time herself, so we don't know what's happening with that family. But out of all the stories that I read about Mount Shasta, that's one that kind of like stuck with me, and I was like, it's probably one of the more famous ones from that mountain.
Did you know that alien sightings are hereditary?
No, like people experience it like it's family.
Yeah, they stay inside family circles, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I wonder if there's anything like that going on.
I don't know. Thankfully, that as far as I know, my family's pretty good. Remember we were talking about digging the hole?
Yeah, that hole. I remember that hole.
Remember the hole?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people think that Mount Shasta is above a lost continent called Lemuria.
Oh my god.
Have you heard about Lemuria?
I know about Lemuria.
Is it Lemuria? It's a U. I've never heard the E.
It doesn't matter. It's made up.
So it's the world between like how lemurs got to Madagascar and all these underground tunnels and
Why
stuff.
would California be above Lemuria then?
Why not?
Because if it's by
There's
Africa.
Tunnels under there, man. Giants and stuff.
Okay, sure. You go ahead. Continue.
Oh, I do have it down here. It's the Winnemem. The Winnemem Wintu tribe.
Oh.
Yeah. They heard about the hole. They didn't like it.
We'll have to tag them.
On Instagram. They came out to protect the mountain. They didn't like the fact that somebody was digging a hole. So people are, even if it's not Lemuria, people are extrapolating that something might be underneath the mountain, because once somebody started digging, that 60-foot hole was found in the side of the hill. The tribe became kind of possessive of it. And that could just be like, this is our land, this is our property, even if it's not, we're not talking legally their property. We're talking about in their...
Like spiritually.
Spiritually their property, and somebody's messing with it. So that's one thing there. So we'll pass over that because it's getting long anyway. So the last thing is, and I know you'll enjoy this, it is a hot spot for UFOs.
Oh, yeah, I bet it is.
A lot of people have claimed to see cloud-like looking flying saucers come from it. And there's actually an image on one, and we'll probably post it because I think that's pretty exciting. But apparently in 1947, Kenneth Arnold witnessed a fleet of 9 UFOs flying past Mount Adams in Washington State, which isn't Shasta, but it is part of the Cascade. So the Cascade Mountains have a history of UFOs.
Do you know what kind of UFOs?
No.
Like, did you have a shape?
It's probably like a round one.
Like the disc?
Yeah. But according to an entry on, I've never heard of this, the Mutual UFO Network, are you a member? Did you sign up?
MUFON?
Do you have an account?
I tried to. It's like $80.
Well, that can't be a scam. But according to an entry on, as Charlie said, MUFON, a UFO was spotted making an escape from Mount Shasta. Like, they saw it coming from out. Somebody actually took a picture of it. So people were taking photos of Mount Shasta at this time. I think this is in the 40s. This is a different... Like, so somebody saw it in the 40s and then later, like our time, because there's cameras. So probably like...
cameras in the 40s?
Yeah, not on their phones.
That's true.
We're talking Childish Gambino's last album. They were taking pictures of Mount Shasta's evening silhouette when all of a sudden, a bright body of light just shot out the slope of the mountain. So the person, they thought it was just shooting star. Like, they thought it was just a shooting star, and just based on their perspective, it was shooting out. But the way that they saw it, they found that the shooting star had something shaped like a cigar right underneath it, and they were not able to identify what that was, and that didn't fit what they thought of as a shooting star. So that aspect of it is unknown. Which I appreciate that they were naturally and initially going natural phenomenon. They weren't just like, oh my god, it was a UFO. I always appreciate when somebody tries to
like reason something out.
Yeah, that always makes me believe you more if you like are trying to break it down before you're just like, yeah, it was Godzilla.
Oh, you know, a cigar shape is actually, those are theorized to be motherships.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And this is the last thing, and I'm gonna leave you with this, and I don't know what this is. They sent the image of the UFO with a large light and the cigarette-shaped object underneath. They sent it to a self-titled UFO expert, Scott C. Waring, who believes the pictures are genuine.
What's the name?
Scott C. Waring.
I don't know him.
He claims that they are genuine pictures of an alien spaceship.
Okay.
Apparently he runs website ET database where they compile UFO pictures.
They should send it to MUFON.
They should. Well, he's probably like $80. Fuck that. So let me just do a light recap, and then we can have a short discussion.
Okay.
National forests, they don't keep track of missing people.
That's so weird.
Whether you believe it or not, if you want to take a Google dive, there are tons. I mean, I gave 4. There are tons of crazy stories about people's personal experiences and actually documented stories about people waking up different areas, not understanding what's happening. And Mount Shasta is a great example of a national forest / volcano that is considered to be a paranormal hotspot with both UFOs, tunnels, people having terrifying experiences, underground tunnels. I think I said tunnels twice. There's many tunnels. There's more than one tunnel. You go from the conservatory to the lounge and from the kitchen to somewhere else. The study? I don't know. We're talking Clue. We're talking Clue.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
But yeah, so Charlie, what were your thoughts? I appreciate how much you were interjecting in between. And I admit, this was a lot. I had 9 pages of research. I was really just going to start with Mount Shasta, but it just turned into so much more, and I didn't want to leave anything out.
It turned into a deep dive.
I think the funnest part was the stories, the main 4 stories.
Yeah,
right?
I like those stories a lot.
So what are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
That last story, I don't think was credible.
With the grandma and little John?
No, not that.
Oh, with the girl.
Girl.
Like, she went forward and it disappeared, and she went backward and it disappeared. Yeah, okay.
Like, get the fuck
I agree.
out of here.
Reading that one, I was like, I'm going to put it in here because it caught my attention. But at the same time, I was like, and I'm not saying all these are true. I mean, none of these could be true. I'm just saying I think they're interesting, and it's just a lot. Like, more than anything, the fact that national forests don't have statistics for missing people, I hope that's not true. I hope somebody fact checks me on that.
Yeah, I hope someone was like, actually,
I have a list right here.
Yeah.
It's a fuck ton. So what else were you thinking?
I really believe in aliens. I really do.
Well, yeah, when you look at the sky and all the stars, it's hard to think, even if they didn't come here.
No, I think they're here. Like,
Okay.
I think they're fucking with, like, there's so many stories of missing time that just don't make sense.
You should, well, that doesn't necessarily mean only aliens.
I guess, yeah, I know, but, like, I think it's the most logical explanation to me.
It'd be like time portals or like something with time and space.
I guess, but even
nobody knows.
Yeah.
What do you think about, like, the reptilian people? That would be a really good paranormal sometime. Like, whether they
The
live with us.
reptilians?
Yeah.
There's actually two races of reptilians. Terrestrial and extra.
Terrestrial and George W. Bush.
Well,
and then the celebrities being cloned. That's another one. I'm giving you guys ideas for the future.
Yeah.
Not next month, because next month is going to be special.
Yeah.
We won't get into that.
In a minute.
But next month is gonna be special.
So for next month, Tyler, we have 7 subjects that we have to pick from that we're going to talk about and then hopefully visit.
Yeah, because if you guys notice, next month, October, is going to have 5 weeks, which we normally make the 5th one music-related, but it lands on Halloween.
It's too perfect.
It
It's
is.
almost like it's faded.
So like Charlie said, our goal is the 4th week, paraformal, like today. We want to be talking about something creepy, hopefully in Ohio.
Mhm.
And then the 5th week, we want to go and do it and talk about it. So when you hear it, it's like, okay, we're going to talk about something, and then we want to do it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some, like, clips or something. We'll go that weekend or something.
I was thinking that we would record on the way there and then record on the way back.
Oh, just like
the filler stuff we'll still do on a separate day, like
Yeah.
we're doing now. But like I think getting audio on the way there in anticipation on the way back, kind of like in the moment talking about what happened.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that was our September paraformal. Next week we got
Good
first
job,
week
Tyler.
food again. Thank you. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It's gonna be Charlie for like the next 12 months. I just wanted to try it out. It was a lot of research. Holy shit. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Next week's back to first week food.
Yes.
Thinking pizza. But we'll see.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to happen.
Yeah. Luigi's.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to be Luigi's.
Yeah, everybody in Akron loves Luigi's. I've only been there once and I didn't have pizza.
I've heard it's cash only.
Okay.
So keep that shit in mind.
Okay, cool.
If it's not, tell me, please.
So thank you guys so much. As of the recording of this podcast, nobody has sent us a selfie for our thing yet, so y'all suck. Apparently you don't want free $10 gift cards. That's fine. Whatever. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for sharing, subscribing, liking, 5-starring, everyone. We see you out there, and we appreciate it.
Yep. 5 stars.
I thought you were gonna like talk.
I said what I said.
Okay.
No, we appreciate you. Keep fucking commenting.
Yes.
Interactions. I really want to talk to someone and be like, oh my god, I love the show. And they have no idea who I am.
Let us know what segments you like. Let us know what segments you don't like. Let us know what's working, because the only way we'll find out is if you tell us. So thank you guys for listening. And as always, this is the Seg-Way.
The best thing to happen to you on a Thursday. It was part of the interview with the enemies.